So we started out day one with just a review of geometry, what you did several years ago. So right triangle trig. So the first thing was Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I feel like you guys probably just know that one at this point, though. I'm writing it down because it's true and it's on the test, but I feel like that one, you guys know that one. All right, and then we had sine, cosine, tangent. No, that's why I was saying if you write super tiny, you might be able to fit it by your name, but like I'm gonna take a picture of this and post it to Schoology, so it's gonna be up there for you. You'll have access to it. All right, now you can remember this as SOHCAHTOA or however, like whatever acronym you want to use to remember this, but sine is what over what? Opposite? Oh, not oop. Yeah, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent opposite over adjacent. Now the other three, cosecant, secant, and cotangent, all you would do is flip them. I didn't put those on the test though. It's just these three. Cool. Okay. Then we started doing the patterns. Okay, now that's right triangles only. This is right triangles only. Then we started getting into our patterns. There are 5 of them. Does anyone, take 2. Does anyone remember which 2 we did first, like the first day? All right, angle, angle, side was one of them. And angle, side, angle. Those are just law of sines. Just do the law of sines. There's nothing else to worry about. Just do the problem. Those are the easier ones. Then we started getting into the tougher ones. What was the pattern we did all by itself? Like spend a whole day on one pattern. Yeah, the side, side, angle, the naughty word backwards. That's the one you need to do the analysis. Theta is, and then you go from there. But that's the only pattern you do the analysis for. And then what were the last 2? They were law of cosine, side, angle, side, and side, side, side. That's law of cosines. So let's write down the law of sines and the law of cosines. Law of sines, you put the side over sine of the angle and you set up a ratio. Now I used A and B there, but do you get that it could be A and C or B and C? Like, it doesn't matter. And on Delta Math, you had like Q, R, and S. Do you remember that? Like, okay. And then law of cosines, again, there were like 3 different versions of it if you jumble up the letters, but let's just do this one. A squared equals what? B squared, good. Plus C squared minus 2BC or CB. You just repeat those. Cosine A. That's a side and that's an angle, but these 2 match, and then these 2 just get repeated. Again, you can jumble up the letters and do that a different version. This usually goes well. It's not that hard of a formula. Again, I will tell you the most common mistake I get is people put sine there. And I get why that happens, but it's the law of cosine. So let's just try to remember that. Okay. So this is all your right triangle stuff. This is all your law of sines and cosines. The last thing were the area formulas. There were 2 of them. The first one, 1/2 AB sine of C. Again, you could jumble up the letters. What would be another version of that?
Like S, B equals sine of A.
Oh, that's a totally different formula. I'm asking what would be another version of this, like if you just twisted the letters.
1/2 BC sine of A.
Yeah, 1/2 BC sine A. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not writing all of them, like you could jumble the letters. But then there's that one you were talking about. The other one, you get this S value, which is 1/2 A plus B plus C. And then your area is what? A giant square root. And it's S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. All right, so those are your area formulas. So that's everything. That's the whole unit in a nutshell. I'm going to take a picture of that and post it to Schoology. So you're going to have access to all of that. Okay, this is your right triangle stuff, your law of sines of cosines, and then this is your 2 area formulas. Yeah. And again, I'm going to take a picture of that and post it to Schoology. Like you will have access to all of that. For the study guide, I'm going to do 2 problems on each page with us together. The rest, I'm going to fill it in and it'll be on Schoology for you to, practice them and check your answers. Because, you don't get another homework assignment on the day before the test. Your homework is to make sure you're ready for the test. So I don't want to do all of it. I'm going to do like about half. Okay. You would need sine, cosine, tangent to get an angle. Pythagorean theorem is only the sides. All right, so we're gonna do question 1. The first thing you need, and if this looks like, hey, we did this on the quiz. Yep, it's like your quiz 2.0, except I just didn't put the other 3 trig functions on here. The first thing you need to find is the missing side. How would you do that? Good. Okay, so off to the side here, I'm going to do a squared plus 4 squared equals 6 squared, and then go from there. And remember, you get a calculator. So that would be a squared plus 16 equals 36. So a squared would equal 20. And then you have to split that. What 2 numbers multiply to be 20, but one of them's got to work. Yeah, 4 times 5. And so it would be 2 square root of 5. Okay, so that's step 1, is find the missing side. Now this is your point of view. Do you guys see this here? That's your point of view. That's the one that's labeled, that theta. That's like you are here on the map. So which side is the opposite? 4 is opposite. 6 is hypotenuse. And then this 2 square root of 5 is adjacent. That's not going to change because we're not changing the point of view. Like that's your angle. All right. And the hardest part, honestly, is reducing the fractions. All right. That part goes well. It's reducing the fractions that can be hard. Sine is going to be 4 over 6. What does that reduce to? Yep, 2/3. Good. Cosine would be what over what? 2 square root of 5 over 6. Now you can't touch what's underneath the root, so that 5 is going to stay, but 2 6 you can reduce to 1/3. And again, the hardest part is reducing fractions, honestly, because fractions scare everybody because they look weird. Yeah, you can write the 1 or not. I wrote it because everybody kind of said 1/3, so I put the 1 there. You don't need that 1. You could erase that or just not put it. All right, and then tangent would be 4 over 2 square root of 5. Now that one's going to be like a 2-step problem to reduce. First of all, how would you reduce 4 divided by 2? 2. So it would be 2 over square root of 5. 2 over 1 square root of 5. And then you have to rationalize. It'll be 2 square root of 5 over 5. Good. Did we get it? Nice. All right, now the other one I'm going to do on this page is number 4, because that is your area formula. And again, I'm just going to do 2 problems on each page. The rest of the answers will be posted. Bless you. So for number 4, bless you. Do you see how you have all 3 sides? Yeah. Okay, that means we're going to get this S value. It's 1/2, and then you add them all together, and you're just going to use your calculator. I typed it in my calculator. Can anybody maybe share what they got? Or wait, what'd you get? This is not what I got. Did I type something wrong? Did you divide it by 2? Did you do the 1/2? 13.65. Wait, did anyone else get this? Okay. Okay, cool. If not, and okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and it frustrates me so much, the button pushing. Just as a heads up, after this, we'll be done with the calculators. I can't stand it because you can know exactly what you're doing and still get the wrong answers if you bump the wrong button. So just please be extra vigilant with the calculators, okay? Now your area is going to be this gigantic square root. Under there, you're going to have this 13.65. And then I would just draw like 3 more blanks. I'm all about setting things up blank and then just filling them in because it calms you down. Like we all get some level of that testing anxiety. Yours could be on the lower end or the higher end. But if you set it up blank, it will calm you down because then you're like, oh, I just need to fill in the gaps. Like I basically have it. I just need to fill in the gaps. So in here is going to be 13.65 minus 7. That would be 6.65. You just subtract each of them. So then the next one would be 13.65 minus 9.3. I'm typing that one in because I don't know that like off the top of my head. 4.35. You are. And then 13.65 minus 11, 2.65. And then you type that whole thing in. Do you guys all remember where your square root is? You have to hit second, and then the squared button. Okay. And put all that in and it will give you your answer. Ooh, whoops, except I mistyped some things. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, did anyone else get 32.347? Now I did put units, I brought this up every single time we've done an area problem because I think it's important to understand this. Your units for the sides of the triangle are feet, but when you find an area, it is feet squared because it's two-dimensional. If you were finding a volume, it would be cubic feet. Like if you were filling up a swimming pool with water, it's cubic feet. I feel like that's important to understand. Anyway, I'm going to do 2 problems per page. So let's go to the next page. I'm trying to pick out what I feel are the toughest ones, by the way. On here, we're going to do 7 and 8. I'm trying to do what I would consider the hardest problems for you. All right, so let's read. We have a 125-foot observation tower near the coastline. I probably just should have called it a lighthouse. You have to have an imagination. Can you envision this lighthouse? And then the beach, and then the water? The boat is out in the water? Okay, like just try to envision that, because I can't draw any of that. Yeah, okay, so let's draw a triangle. And where would the 125 go? If that's the height of the lighthouse. Yeah, on the left, like the vertical part is our 125. So we see a boat out here in the water. Now we have 2 angles. Look, one goes all the way to the boat, and then one goes to the edge of the coast. So watch me. I'll try to draw a little bit of this. The boat is out in the water. But there's this point where the water meets the land. That's the coast. You've been to the beach. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like right here is where, like, this is all sand. And then at this point is where the water starts. So that's where your second triangle goes. You have one angle that goes all the way to the boat, and then one angle that just goes to the coast. Do you remember the problem we did in class with the goddess of wheat that was on top of the building? It is just like that. It is exactly like that. You have 2 angles, all right? Now, the 16 degrees goes all the way to the boat, so 16 goes there. And then what was the one to the coast was 41. It's a 2-part problem because there's 2 triangles, all right? So as a heads up, you're going to need to store some things in here, okay? So let's do the smaller triangle first. Can you guys look just at this one? Look just at this one. We need to find this distance. I'm going to call it X. So looking just at that triangle, sine, cosine, or tangent. Tangent, good. How would we set it up? It would be tangent of, good, 41. It's always the angle, equals 125 over X. Everybody go ahead and type that in, pretty please. And we'll, oh, how would you type that, by the way? Yeah, you guys have got it. Okay, I'm not going to ask that again. That sounds like you guys have that. Now, you have to write at the very minimum what I'm showing you here. I can't grade what you typed in the calculator. I can't see it. I can't grade what you've done in your head. I can't grade what you've button pushed. I can only grade what's written on the paper. So you have to write it for me. But quick, hurry, store that before it gets away. Store alpha A, enter. Or whatever letter of the alphabet you want, but I just usually use A, B, and C. Store alpha A, enter. Are we good to there? Now we're going to do the other triangle. Watch me point to this. It's all the way to the boat. So we're looking at the entire thing, like the whole big triangle. So it's going to be this whole distance that we're finding, and I'm going to call it Y. Again, you can call it whatever letter of the alphabet pleases you. You could use A and B if you want. That's fine. Actually, I probably should have done A and B. I'm just used to doing X and Y, so that's what I did. And it's going to be the exact same problem, except instead of 41, it'll be 16. It's a two-part problem, but you're doing the same thing twice. One for the like smaller triangle and then one for the bigger triangle. All right, so go ahead and type that one in. It'll be 125 divided by tangent of 16. And give everybody a chance to type it. I kind of did it quick so I could write it down up here so you could all see it, but give everyone a chance to do that. We're going to store it as B. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I don't have any like the little small.
Are we all, did I pause long enough? Are we all okay? Okay, now how do you get the final answer? The question is, how far is the boat offshore? This like distance out in the water? Good, you would do y minus x. So what you're gonna type in the calculator is alpha b minus alpha a. And that will give you your final answer. Oh, and I think it was feet, right? Feet, okay. Don't make that up. Just go back and reread the question. So it's exactly like the goddess of wheat question. You're just going to do the problem twice and then either add or subtract them together, whatever the problem is asking. We seem very unfocused today. I'm glad you're all awake, but are we okay? We got that? I'm going to hand you a test. Okay. And then we'll do number 8. As a heads up, this one won't be a right triangle. Okay. You are standing. Oh, and I made it meters. Be aware of that. I try to change it every once in a while just so you actually read the problem. If I made it feet every time, you'd never even read it. All right, you are standing 40 meters from the base of a tree that's leaning 8 degrees from the vertical towards you. You get the trees are mostly upright, but sometimes they lean. Okay, so it's not going to be a perfect right triangle. And again, I'll try to draw a little bit of this, but I'm not a great artist. This side's the tree, okay? Like this is the tree. These are the leaves. This is the tree here. Don't make fun. Okay. You're standing here looking up at the tree that's leaning towards you. It's not leaning that much. I exaggerated it. It's not about to fall on you. Do you get what we're saying here? Okay. This side's the tree.
The shaded part or?
I kind of tried to draw a tree trunk.
Oh.
Don't make fun of my drawing. I made an attempt just so you could see it. And you're right here. Okay, so look, guys, it's leaning 8 degrees away from vertical. So look, if this is vertical, and I don't really want to draw that in because it's not part of my picture, but if it's leaning 8 degrees off of vertical, what would be this angle? If this is vertical and it's 8 degrees over, what would go right here? It's going to be 80 something. Why is it 82? Because vertical would be how much? 90, and it's 8 degrees off of vertical. Do you get it? Okay. It's not leaning very much. My picture is a little exaggerated. All right, now let's see what else we've got. The angle of elevation from your feet to the top of the tree is 20. So 20 goes here. Find the height of the tree. So this is X. You can't do sine, cosine, tangent because it's not a right triangle. You have to do law of sines. Okay. Oh, I need a side though. I missed something. What else do we know? Oh, we're 40 meters away. Cool. I was like, wait, I need something else. Yeah. Why do we have to find the other angle? This one here. You need a side across from an angle. So can you guys find that angle for the top? Do 180 minus the other two. 78. So now set it up. It'll be 40 over sine of 78 equals, and then how would you set up the other? It has to be what you're looking for on the other side. X over sine 20. And then how do you type that? You cross, good, perfect. So it'll be 40 sine 20. Good, okay, good, you guys have it. Divide by sine 78. Why did we not have to hit second at all? You're not fine. Oh my gosh, it is so cool. You guys listen to me and then we all know what's going on. All right, so go ahead and flip over. So for these, And again, all the patterns are gonna be all mixed up. The pattern tells you what you're gonna do, if it's law of sines, law of cosines, or if you need to do the analysis, okay? Okay, so we're gonna start with number 9. Go ahead and just draw a triangle. And remember, you get a point for just drawing it and stating the pattern. Like labeling it and stating the pattern is worth a point. Like the setup. So where would we start labeling? Like bottom left. And it doesn't matter the letter, it's just whichever one you have. So in this case, A is 36 degrees. So across from that would be 8. And then what am I going to put in the bottom right? B, because across from that is 5. And whatever one you don't know anything about is going to be C, or at the top. A, B, or C doesn't matter, but at the top. So what pattern is this? It's side angle. So what does that mean? Analysis. Okay, so it starts out theta is acute. Good. And then which one of these is the opposite side? 8 is opposite of the angle you have. So opposite is what? Greater. What does that mean? If it's bigger, just do law of sines. You're good. Just do the problem. You don't need to find the height. You're good. We're just going to do the problem. All right, so let's make our little list of what we're missing. We are missing B, angle B, angle C, and then baby C. So you need a side across from an angle to set it up. It would be 8 over sine 36. And if you want to just go ahead and write it twice, I kind of recommend that because these problems are a lot. And sometimes you get partway through and then you're like, wait, what was I doing? You know, if you write it twice, you already have the setup and then you won't forget what you're doing. All right, so what goes on the other side is what you're looking for. So what we'll go over here. It's 5 over sine B, and then we're going to type it. I'm going to try to not say anything. I want you guys to figure out how to type it because the test is next class, so I got to take off those training wheels. But talk to each other, help each other.
No.
And I'm going to say this on the recording so it ends up on there. Listen, if you can't get that from your calculator, if you're just having an off day and you can't get it, what have I told you to do? Make it up, because I can take off the point for that, but then you'll be able to continue with the problem. Because how do you get the last angle? Subtract from, and if you do 180 minus 36 minus whatever you made up, I can give you credit for that one. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So never give up. Like, invent something and then I can give you points for the other one. All right. So we're going to do 180 minus 36 minus, and you should have stored that as B. So minus alpha B, it should look like this. That'll give you C. Can anyone confirm they got the same thing as me? Okay. Store that as C. And then we've got that one last problem that we already set up here. And that's why I say just set it up, because then when you go back, it's like already started for you and you don't like lose your train of thought. So what we'll go over here, it's what you're looking for. It's the missing thing. Good. C over. Now you can write just the letter C for sine C, or you can write 122.446. It's whatever your personal preference is. But no matter what, use the stored value. All right, do I hit second for this one? No. All right, it'll be 8 sine of C. Oh, I said I wasn't going to dictate this to you. Try and go ahead and type it in. And make sure you can get your last answer. All right, and then the other one we're going to do on this page is 11. right, so draw yourself a triangle. Now in this problem, it actually kind of doesn't matter what you put where, because what's the pattern without even drawing a triangle? It's gonna be side, 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 but I'm still gonna give you a point for drawing it, so just still draw it. Like you get a point for doing what I just did there. That's worth a point. Like I try to make it, like the material's hard, but I try to make it so the grading is a little forgiving. So that if you gave it a shot, you'll be okay. All right. Now you have to find these in a particular order or else it will not work. Which one are we going to do first? Good. YA, smallest. All right. And then C and then B. So, oh, this is law of, good. Okay. Law of cosines. So when you start with A, you're going to start with baby A. Like this is the first one we're doing. Start with the smallest one. So it's 6 squared equals 12 squared plus 8 squared minus 2, 12, 8. Just repeat those. Cosine of A. That's what you're missing. Now, side, side, side is the one that involves a little bit of writing. You're going to have to do some algebra, but remember you have a calculator, okay? 6 squared is 36. All right, there's a lot of chatter going on while I'm talking about this, and I love that you guys are helping each other, but I just want to make sure you can hear me too. Now, this would be 144 plus 64, which would be, I just typed it in, 208. Minus, all right, 2 times 12 times 8. I'm just typing that in too. Remember, you have a calculator, so use it. I got 192 cosine A. The common mistake is people subtract those. I tried to write them far apart so that it wouldn't look like they go together. You can't put those together. Instead, what do you do? Subtract the 208 over. Good. It'll be 36 minus 208. Hey, Miss Cole, that's negative. Why is that okay? Negatives are going to cancel. And then what's our last step before we can go type it in? Divide that over and just leave it 172 over 192. It's not worth trying to reduce that. It just isn't worth it. Just type it in. Now, how do you type that? To get the angle. Second cosine, good. 172 over 192. And then store it. It almost got, I say that to be silly so you'll remember to store it. Quick, it's going to escape. Hurry, capture it. Second cosine, 172 over 192. You're doing a cosine inverse. And then store it as A. All right, so look, now you have a side across from an angle. So we're going to set up a ratio. 6 over sine of A. And you can write the letter A, or you can write this number, whatever's your preference. And then what you're looking for goes on the other side. So what's next on our list? Like, what are we finding next? See, so it'll be 8 over sine of C. So how do you type that? Second sine. This is the one we're looking for. So you want second sine and then what? 8 sine A. So 8 sine alpha A, close parenthesis. And then what? Divide by 6. So whenever you're looking for an angle, hit second sine. Again, if you can't figure it out, I'm not joking. Make up 3 numbers that add up to 180. Bless you. And I can give you the point for the last one. And then it won't be a total wash. Literally just invent 3 numbers. As long as they add up to 180, I can give you a point for that. Okay? Oh, I did store that one as C. And then the last one, you're going to do 180 minus A minus C. Okay, cool. Thank you for confirmation that I typed it correctly as well. Okay, and we're just going to do a couple on the last page. We're gonna do 15 and 16, but I'm gonna do 16 first. All right, so we're at number 16. Again, I'm just picking and choosing a few on each page. So go ahead and draw your triangle. I'm gonna try to not say anything. And then what's our pattern? Okay, yes, I hear some of you saying it. You're saying the naughty word, but that's okay. So what does that mean? What does that tell you? The thing? The thing, I know what you mean, the flow chart, the analysis. Okay, so it starts theta is. Acute, good. Now this is opposite, so across from the angle, this is adjacent. So the opposite is less than adjacent. Womp, womp. Okay, now what do we do now? Since it's not, find the height. So look, you want to try to just look at this right triangle and you need to set up a problem to find the height. It will always be sine. It will always be sine. So it is sine 76 equals h over 20. And we're going to find the height. And you have to write what the height is on your paper. Again, I can't grade what you put in the calculator. Like I can't see it. I have to have it written here for me. Can I get confirmation on this one? Okay, cool. I'm a human being, not a robot. I can mistype stuff too, so I like hearing the confirmation. All right, and then you do one more comparison. 18 is still your opposite. It's still opposite of the angle you have. Opposite is what? Opposite is smaller than the height. And so again, that's like womp womp. It's not big enough. So what's your conclusion? Is no solution. But again, that's worth quite a few points. You did a lot there. It's a point for drawing the picture and doing the pattern. And then like quite a few more for all this. You still do a lot, even though you didn't actually answer the question. Well, I mean, you answered the question, but you didn't actually like, you guys know what I'm trying to say. All right, and then we'll do 15. Yeah, this will be the last one we do together. I'm going to fill out the rest of this and take a picture of it. So all the rest of them, do you guys understand, since you don't have a homework assignment, what you should probably do for next time? Like finish this and then check your answer. That will be your good practice. Now I'm trying to do some of the hardest ones for you. I'm kind of leaving the easier ones, but still it's good practice. All right, and again, what's this pattern? Side angle. So that's your analysis. It starts out theta is acute. So we're doing the similar thing that we just did in 16. Opposite is what? Smaller. 11.4 is smaller than 12.8. And that means we have to find the height. If the opposite side was bigger, you would just do the problem. That's like, didn't we have one like that already? Yeah, where we did this analysis and the opposite side was bigger and we were like, okay, cool, just do the problem. If it's not big enough, that's where you got to find the height. So how would we set up to find our height? Sorry, I'm just trying to color code here for you. Sine 58 equals, good. And then we're going to put it in the calculator. Bless you. Bless you. Can anyone share what they got for the height? Okay. And then you're going to do one more comparison. 11.4, your opposite is what compared to the height? Greater. Okay, what does that mean? It means we're going to do the problem and you have two answers, okay? So we're missing B, C, and little c, and maybe just do this to show we're going to get two answers for this one. It's not any more work writing. You're not gonna write anything more than you did for any of the other problems, okay? It's just more button pushing, which I get is frustrating and you're allowed to be frustrated by it. All right, you need a side across from an angle. How do we set it up? 11.4 over sine of 58. And if you want to just go ahead and write that twice, you can do that. These are the last two things you're going to have to write, are these two problems set up here. All right, equals 12.8 over sine B. Go ahead and type it in. It'll be second sine to start out with because you want an angle. But yep, me too. Cool. Thank you for confirmation. Yep, good. Store it. Quick, capture it before it gets away. Store it as B. And then to get the last angle, you subtract from 180. 180 minus 58 minus the stored one will give you the last one. It should be 49 and some change, and stored as C. So then for your last one, if you already have it set up, you're good to go. What goes on this side? C over sine C. And you can write C or you can write 49.787. Either way, just use the stored value. It'll be 11.4 sine of alpha C divided by sine of 58. To get the other set of solutions, it is not any more writing. I'm not going to write anything down except the answers, okay? Do you remember when I got out that triangle I had cut out of a piece of paper and I folded it along the straight line? Straight line's worth 180. If you do 180 minus the one in the bottom right, because it's like this one is folding over on itself, so do 180 minus B, that'll give you the new B. 180 minus alpha B, that'll give you the new alpha B. And do you remember the interesting thing that happens with the decimals? Like how this one's 0.787? Like this one's going to be something 0.212. Okay, store that as B. That's the new B. Hey, Miss Cole, what about the old B? We're done with it. Store it as the new one. You're just covering up what you had before. And then to get the last angle, it's 180 minus 58 minus alpha B. And you should get a really tiny answer for that one. Do you remember me drawing the triangle and showing you how it's like this tiny little sliver? Like you should get a small answer. I got 14. Okay, store that as C. And then you're going to type this one more time. But when you use the new C value, it'll give you the new answer. So you're going to type this one more time, which actually is kind of like for the argument of you should just write the letter C and not the number. Probably just write the letter C and not the number. So you're just going to do this one more time. When you use the new stored value, it'll give you the new answer. So 11.4 sine alpha C, close parenthesis, divided by sine 58. Oh, and why is it so small? Why is that so little? It's across from a really tiny little sliver of an angle.